Hey, what's happening out there? I'm Aaron Snyder, and this is Halftime Prep Talk. Thanks for joining us every week on dailyindependent.com, the Independent's Facebook page, or YouTube. Accompanying me today is part-time sports writer Matt Sparks. Matt's nickname is Money, which refers to his silky smooth shooting stroke. Back in the days of...
basketball playing,
Yeah, back in the high school days of basketball. His favorite sports movie is, now that you know he's a high school basketball star, with your shooting stroke, right?
I don't know if I say star
okay.
or not.
Okay.
Star's pushing it.
Okay. His favorite sports movie is Hoosiers, and one of his main goals in life is to meet Larry Bird. So now we have your little bio.
That's quite a profile. Also like long walks on the beach and girls who love guys with sense of humor.
There you go. So our people are working diligently behind the scenes to get Larry Bird on as a guest, just for you. We may have to go to French Lick, Indiana, but I mean, I'm on board for that, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
As long as the Independent can cover our expenses. Our special guests this week are Fairview first-year head football coach Fred Ray and Eagles junior quarterback Alex Roy. Matt, we're 3 weeks into the high school football season, and I know you had a packed weekend last weekend with Fleming County, Greenup County on Friday, Raceland Boyd County on Saturday. What stood out the most from those two games?
I think probably the contrast and styles of those 10 games. Greenup County, Fleming County got a great defense. It was a low-scoring game, only 14-7. Greenup County's quarterback was injured, so we had to slip in a brand new quarterback on short notice. Played pretty well, but it took a lot of time adjusting. Raceland, of course, loved to score points. You know, Josh Young had 5 TDs all by himself, and 1 rush and 4 touchdown passes. So it's going to be quite the matchup. We're going to talk about that a little later, I'm sure.
Impressive offense.
It'll be quite a matchup from Raceland and Greenup this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Other highlights from Week 3, Ashland can't escape George Washington in a heartbreaking 27-26 loss to GW in Charleston. Right after the Tomcats took a 26-20 lead late in the fourth quarter, GW's Drew, spelled with a U, Bowen, returned a kickoff 94 yards all the way to set up a game-winning extra point. Ironton crushed Russell 36-9. Tristan Cox with 3 touchdowns. Were you kind of shocked about this one, Matt?
Pretty shocked about both games, really. 25 ticks away for the Tomcats' plot of victory. Hoping Dickie Martin's recovered by now, hopefully.
It's been a few days.
But,
might take longer. I don't know with Dickie.
Ironton looked like the old Tigers of old. I thought with their power up front, the power running game. Russell's still in the adjustment process with a new coach. You know, you got to think Russell's had the same system in place for almost 4 decades. Yeah. So it's going to take a little bit of time to adjust.
More than 2 weeks to adjust.
But
right.
Coach Manners, he's a great coach, and it probably shouldn't take too long.
That's right. Lawrence County stays perfect, 3-0 with a 29-25 win over Fairview, despite the Eagles throwing for 364 yards. Bulldogs quarterback Grant Kaiser had 3 touchdowns, including an 83-yard run that gave Lawrence the lead in the second quarter, and they never trailed again. Although it was very close, down to the wire. Fairview had opportunities, as did Lawrence, to pull away. So both teams were impressive to me in that game. Let's go to our top 3 games of the week. Number 3, Fairview at Bellevue. The Eagles outlasted the Tigers 62-50 last year in Westwood in a game Fairview eventually had to forfeit. Fairview's throwing it 40 times a game this year. Bellevue attempted a whopping 49 passes during last season's meeting in Westwood. They're still airing it out, although with a different quarterback. What do you foresee on Friday, Mr. Sparks?
I say points, and more points.
I get your point.
Thank you. I say when you go to the game, I say get your concessions early. I say if you have to go to the bathroom, I'd hold it, because if you blink, you're probably going to miss something pretty special. But Alex Roy, you know, he's a versatile player, quarterback, can 6'5", 240. Oh, I was 240 probably in high school. I'm probably not that now, but I think probably Fairview. I would pick Fairview by a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm with you on Fairview. Going into the season, I had, I'll say it, I had them predicted to finish 3rd in that district, behind Raceland and Paintsville, and I have changed my mind. And they were very convincing on Friday night when I was there in person, and I think that they can give Raceland maybe a run for their money if their offense continues to click as well.
I agree with that.
You know, that's on down the road, but that is a much talked about game, so why not bring it up? But I'm going to go Fairview over Bellevue. It's going to be a little bit tougher, you know, on the road. I don't know how loud it gets in Bellevue, but with the no-huddle offense, you know, I mean, in high school that's usually not a factor. It's not like they're going to Seattle. But at Bellevue is might not be too easy of a game, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, maybe in the 40s. But Fairview wins by a touchdown. I'm with you on that. Raceland at Greenup County is our number 2 game of the week. The Musketeers are disappointed with back-to-back close losses. Once again, they're dealing with injuries in some key spots. It seems to happen every year. Raceland appears to have one of the most effective offenses in the area. A rivalry game. Have we settled on a name for this one yet? Russell Greenup is the backyard brawl. I was thinking maybe the front yard fracas, side yard showdown.
Those are two pretty good options there. Yeah.
Being in Greenup County, in all seriousness, what about the county clash?
There you go. Yes, I think so. Yes.
Maybe we should start that here at the Independent. What are you thinking this one?
Well, I think Greenup County's got really great players on both sides of the ball. They're known for their defense, but right now they're having trouble scoring points on offense.
Sure.
And against Raceland, that might be a bit of a problem because Raceland loves to score points.
Yeah, they're good at that.
So,
and their passing's been really good with Josh Young and Connor Messer and Trey Potter and those guys in that passing game. Greenup County's done a pretty good job against the run so far this season. You mentioned their defense. Greenup County gave up very little to Lewis County. I think it might have been even the single digits, And then last week, Fleming had a hard time getting the run going, but their quarterback had a pretty good game. So you lean towards Raceland?
Lean toward Raceland. Young Connor connection is really flowing right now. They've had 6 touchdowns already.
Yeah.
I probably predict at least another one Friday night. Messer tweaked his ankle last week. Coach Salmon says it should be good to go for Friday. Hopefully Greenup will get their quarterback back, Jared Hunt. He hurt his shoulder in the Russell game a couple weeks ago. I think Raceland is going to kind of run away with this, and probably at least by 3 touchdowns.
I believe Drew Johnson's out too for
Yes.
Greenup, and
He has a knee injury.
That's tough for their defense, isn't it? He's a good leader out there, as is Jared Hunt. So if those 2 guys are back, it'll make it a little interesting. I mean, if Jared Hunt's back, that'll make it interesting. But I think Raceland, the way they're clicking right now on offense, they're going to be hard to stop. So I'm with you there by about 20 points maybe or so, 14 to 20 points in that range. So number 1, Russell at Ashland. The Devils put a scare into the Tomcats in Flatwoods last year. 7-6 Ashland win. They survived. Now I want to take a minute to announce that we are launching something new on our website Friday night. We've kept it kind of quiet because it's still kind of a trial run, but we're going to do a live play-by-play and live running box score, just like they do like on NFL.com or ESPN.com. It may not be quite as live, but we're going to try. And if you go to dailyindependent.com and look under sports, you can follow it and let us know what you think. But back to the matchup, storied Russell-Ashland rivalry, that goes back a long ways.
It's been a long ways, especially I'm sure for those who've been who went to school at Ashland and Russell. They have stories to tell. But my mom went to Russell, and when she was in high school, one of her friends had this guy that she wanted to meet. Problem was he was from Ashland, so she had a little trepidation there. But
trepidation.
yeah, but she went ahead and they met, and one of their early dates was an Ashland Russell football game. So they get to the field, and my dad starts taking off one way, and my mom takes off the other, and because they would not sit on the other side of the field, they would not had nothing to do with it whatsoever.
Wow.
So my dad sat on the Ashland side, and my mom sat on the Russell side, and just waved to each other during the timeouts and halftime.
Wow.
But
Love at first sight, 50 yards away.
my dad was a great guy, and so my mom said, she could overlook him being a Tomcat, and 40 years later, I'm here, so everything's worked out.
Perfect. What a great way to sum up that rivalry, too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tremendous. I think Ashland has the edge in this game. Russell's coming off a really tough loss to Ironton. They're going to be hungry to come back and looking for a little redemption. And they were so close against Ashland last year. They feel like maybe they can still play with Ashland. But when it comes down to Tomcats, you talk about hungry. I think they are too. Whenever you lose by 1 point in the fashion that they did,
Yes.
goodness, I mean that can get your adrenaline pumping even more. So I think Ashland comes out, and I think they handle Russell fairly easily.
I would agree with that. It's going to be a packed house at Putnam Stadium, of course, and I think the Tomcats take out a little frustration on the Red Devils, and I say a couple touchdowns for the Tomcats.
I think that's a pretty safe pick, but you never know when it comes to rivalry games.
You throw it all out the window when rivals get together.
That's right. Before we bring on Fairview's Fred Ray and Alex Roy, just to give you numbers real quick on Roy, he's thrown for nearly 700 yards already in 2 games, hooking up with wideout Antoine Washington 21 times for 375 yards in those 2 games. Could they be the best quarterback wide receiver duo in the area?
Well, with those stats, it'd be hard to argue that point. They're really clicking right now.
But you know who's screaming at us right now?
Down at Raceland, they're
Down at
going
Raceland.
Yeah, we got a couple guys down at Raceland that probably might take that top spot. Young
They
and
might.
Messer.
Josh Young, Connor Messer, man, that tandem right there up against Roy and Washington here in a few weeks. Not to bring up
yes.
Fairview Ashland or Raceland again, but those 2 have to be mentioned. And then Grant Kaiser and Timmy Dalton
Timmy.
for Lawrence
Timmy
County.
Dalton might be one of the best athletes in the area. He's exciting to watch.
He's a great deep threat, isn't he? Jacob Boyd, Maverick Burnett from Fleming County, Isaac Weddington, Tyler Mustard Lewis. So a lot of good QB wide receiver duos in the area as passing games seem to expand.
Yeah, a lot of exciting offense in the area, a lot of points scored. It's pretty exciting to watch.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, we're going to call in Fred Ray to take over your spot. Coach Ray will be our first guest on HTPT today. And so we'll bring you back when we close things out here on Halftime Prep Talk. All right, HTPT guest Fred Ray, Fairview head coach in his first year as head coach at Fairview. Of course, you were there before as an assistant. Coach Ray, it's really good to have you.
Good to be here.
The pride of Martins Ferry High School, right?
That's right.
In Ohio.
Long-standing Purple Rider. That's right.
Also, a former Ohio University quarterback. Interesting week for you between Ohio, Kentucky, and Ohio Marshall matchups. What's that been like? Any kind of trash talk going on from Kentucky fans or Marshall fans?
Not a whole lot besides our principal, Eric Hale. Me and him go back a little back and forth on that UK-OU game this past week. And obviously the battle for the belt this weekend against Marshall is always a big game for the Bobcats, so I look forward to that this weekend.
It wasn't too long ago. You played there in the early 2000s. You graduated in 2004, right? And then you played some indoor football.
Yeah.
Coached a little bit of indoor football, and then you ended up at Fairview. What first brought you to Fairview as an assistant?
I think in general, I just want to get coach high school football, and I started as obviously I knew people at the time that were in the school system, and I just wanted an opportunity, and they gave me an opportunity to coach. So I just wanted to start somewhere.
And then last year you had a 1-year stint. Where was it again? What high school was it?
River Valley High School in Bidwell, Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were an assistant there, correct?
Yes, offense coordinator.
Offensive coordinator. Come back to Fairview. What brought you back to Westwood? You rejoined the Eagles. What was the biggest thing that really brought you back?
Just an opportunity to coach a lot of the kids I've known when I coached there previously, and have good relationships with them. And obviously when you coach high school ball, it's all about the relationships you build with these kids, and that's one of the main reasons I came back.
You played indoor football up until what, like 2010, 2011?
Yeah. So I'm not too far removed from playing. So, if I really wanted to, I imagine I could still play, and I don't feel like waking up every morning sore. So.
What were you like as a player? How would you describe yourself?
I definitely, I just went out there and played. I was enjoyed the game of football. I was pretty tough, hard nosed. Ran the option in college, so taking my linebackers, D tackles, everything like that make you a tougher player. So I just went out there and balled out as much as I can, and used my athletic ability, and I just enjoyed the game.
Obviously, you made a mark there at Ohio. Had a good career. Had a little bit of injuries and things like that, but you overcame those. I think was it your senior year that you got hurt?
Yeah, senior year got hurt at Northern Illinois on ESPN, and unfortunately, when you hurt your throwing shoulder, there's not too much you can do to recover that during the season. So, but that was a big game for us.
Now your offense at Fairview is running in the shotgun, a spread offense, no huddle scheme this year. Scored 54 points and win over East Carter, 25 in a hard-fought loss to Lawrence County. Are you satisfied with the progress this type of offense is making?
Yeah, I think our offense, just in general, from when camp started till now, has grown so much, and we've progressed, which is a good thing. You want to progress week to week, and we left some opportunities on Friday night, not a chance to score, and we didn't. But I think we'll learn from them and get better this week.
What's the most important quality your team has to have in that kind of offense?
Just understanding the concept of what we're trying to do, not get too bigger than what we're doing. Just kind of follow our rules in the system and stick to them, and then everything will work out for itself.
Being no huddle and just moving so fast, is it sometimes difficult to keep up with yourselves?
So I think there's a pace we can go at where we kind of go really fast, and there's also a pace we can go where we slow things down. And but I think we're able to just stay in the groove and work things out.
Can you talk about the development of Alex Roy a little bit? He was a freshman freshman when you were at Fairview as an assistant. Went to the state title game that year. He was obviously a starting quarterback then too. Now in his third year as a starting quarterback. What was your first reaction upon returning to Fairview and seeing him again? And how much he's developed. What was your first reaction to seeing Alex again?
From seeing Alex again, from obviously being away for years, just physically he's a lot more mature. I can see that, and obviously I think just from his physical build, he's built for an offense like this. And I think it's very fortunate that him and I came back together and we're able to work things out now. But obviously he's still young in our offense. But I think once we work through week to week, and once he gets more grasp of it, there's even bigger goals he can set for himself in spring.
Now you kind of developed a relationship with him before, where you were the quarterback's coach at Fairview. I mean, totally different offenses now, but this year it seems like he's really connecting with some of his targets, and there's some good targets out there too, with the wideouts: Antoine Washington, Blake Smith, Mason McIntyre, Cody Gullett. The list goes on. I mean, they all had good catches on Friday night against Lawrence County.
Yeah, definitely. I think in our offense, every receiver, running back has a chance to make a play in our offense. And we have some young kids in positions. This is a young offense because it's just new to them and everything like that. So I think everybody in the offense has a chance to make big plays.
Obviously, the story of the offseason, or one of the stories of the offseason, was how would Fairview recover from the penalties, the self-imposed penalties, and then the KHSAA stuff. I know you guys have talked about, and you preach just blocking all that stuff out. What's the support been like in the community through all that?
I think the support has been great. It's kind of hard when you go through a situation like that in life. But I think overall, our mindset when I came in to take over the program was to make a change and for the better. And I think we're getting towards that. And I think the community's buying into it. And obviously, on Friday nights, we're trying to put the best product on the field and to show it Friday when we play the Lawrence.
That adversity that the kids went through, do you think they became stronger as a unit because of that what they went through?
I do believe so. I think each one of our players, play for themselves. We always tell them to fight for each other. And that's something that they continue to do and doing right now. When
you were first hired, I remember looking on your I wasn't stalking you or anything.
Yeah.
I was looking on your Twitter page, and you had a quote, "Dare to be uncommon," which is a famous quote from Tony Dungy.
Yeah.
He's written books called Uncommon, the series, and everything.
Yeah.
How much has Coach Dungy been an influence for you in your coaching?
Pretty amazing. And obviously, he's an amazing human being. Dare to be uncommon. I kind of see myself in that way too. I kind of do things differently than others. I kind of think it's a good thing if you're not the same as another person, and just be who you are, and that's what I want to be. And obviously, I've read Quiet Storm and books that he's written, and I've gotten some things from that to help me become a better coach. So, something that I look forward to, and I look forward to reading with Tony Dungy.
Yeah. You guys got a long road trip coming up this Friday, going up to Bellevue. A team that came into Westwood last year, and it was a crazy game, 62-50. Fairview won the game. What do you expect to see against Bellevue? I mean, they kind of pass a lot too, and they have a pretty potent offense as well, or they can have.
Oh, definitely. I hope it's not a shootout like it was the previous year. I like to get out of there at least by midnight or before. But I just think, definitely they're potent offense, just like us, and they spread it around, throw it around. And obviously on the defense side of the ball, they have quick D linemen. So we'll just see how we adjust to it. Traveling for the first time this year and everything like that. So it'll be interesting how we play, but I think our kids will be fine.
If it goes like last year, you have to book a room at the Holiday
That's right, staying over. That's right.
All right, Coach. Well, it was great to have you on. Thanks for coming down here.
All right, no problem.
All right, halftime prep talk. Guest number 2 for this week is Alex Roy, Fairview's third-year starting quarterback. He is running a whole new type of offense this year. Went from a wing T-based, run-oriented attack to a no-huddle, shotgun, pass-first offense. So what's the transition been like, Alex?
It's a big transition. I mean, you go from running the ball 60 times a game to throwing the ball 75-20% or 75-80% of the time. It was a little rough at first, but I think we all settled down and we got in the mix of things.
A lot of opportunities for you. How much fun is it being back there in that kind of offense?
Oh, it's a blast. Go out every day and throwing 2 or 3 times more than what you expected.
Yeah, I know when you're running no huddle and things like that, you got to be, as a quarterback, I mean, you really have to be in tune to every single thing that's going on. So have you had to be more vocal behind the line this year?
Definitely. I mean, we're going with signal calls this year, so as long as it gets done in Westwood, you got to be vocal. You got to make sure the wide receivers hear you, they see you, linemen hear you, they see you. I mean, it's just, you got to be very vocal.
Was that one of the toughest parts of the transition at first? Just, making sure everybody's on the same page?
I mean, yeah, especially working new kids in. I mean, they at first they were used to wing tee, get all this. They had so many assignments, and now they go to no huddle. They got to get on the ball, get ready to go.
Right.
So yeah, they transitioned pretty well.
I know Fred Ray coached you as a quarterback when you were a freshman. Now he's back as a head coach. How much is working with him, somebody who knows how to play the position and is not far removed from it, how much has that helped you?
Helps me out a lot. He tries to have a little competition with me in practice, but he can't keep up. Thinks he's good enough.
You have some really solid receivers to throw to so far. You and Antoine Washington have racked up almost 400 yards together in just 2 games. And can you just talk specifically about just your connection with Antoine so far this season?
I mean, like I've said before, he's 5'8", 5'9" kid, athletic, but when you throw the ball up to him, it makes him look like he's 6'5". He can go up and get one. He's not scared of contact, and he'll find a way to come down with it.
After the Lawrence County game the other night, Coach Cecil gave you a compliment. He said if colleges aren't calling about you yet, then they're missing the boat. What's your reaction to hearing something like that from an opposing coach?
That's definitely, that makes me proud. I've talked to Coach Cecil a little bit. I know after the game he told me good job, keep my head up. But, I mean, I'm not really worried about colleges. I mean, I'm worried about going out this season, getting the win, doing everything I can to help our team out.
Yeah, I mean, you're just a junior, but you're already in your 3rd year, so it probably feels like you're a veteran out there.
Yeah, all the nerves went out a long time ago.
Your father was also a Fairview quarterback. His name's Chancey, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and he played under Rex Cooksey back in the early to mid-'90s. So, does he ever try to give you any advice or anything?
Yeah, he gives me a lot of advice sometimes. Just keep my head on straight. Don't be nervous. Go out there and follow through the throws, and about it.
They probably ran the ball a little bit more than you guys are this year.
Yeah.
Talking with Blake Smith and Kyle Storms, a couple of the seniors, before the season, they said you guys grew closer as a group after dealing with just an avalanche of adversity that surrounded with the KHSCA stuff and the penalties and all that, but throughout the off season. But do you feel the same way as they do, that you guys grew closer?
Oh, definitely. It's more of a family environment. That's what Coach Ray and offensive coordinator Coach Wilcoxon brought down. I thought that everything that happened, I mean, most high school kids don't go through that.
Right.
And that really brought us closer together.
I feel like you had to grow up a lot. I mean, just, like you said, most high schoolers don't have to go through something like that. So.
Yeah, it definitely made us mature a lot.
Guys go to Bellevue on Friday. What a crazy game last season, 62-50. You guys ran for 7 touchdowns. They threw for 5. What do you most remember about that one?
Long game. Long game.
That's what I remember too.
It came down to the last quarter. And hopefully it's not like that this week, but.
What do you expect this week? You guys, I know you lost against Lawrence County, but you have to be a pretty confident group right now.
Yeah, we're ready to bounce back. I thought there were some bright spots, but there were also some bad spots last Friday. I mean, whenever you get into the 20-yard line 4 times and you don't convert, that's definitely something that we have to work on.
Well, Alex, thanks for joining us on HTPT, and good luck on Friday. Good luck the rest of the season.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, bringing back Matt Sparks as we close out HTPT. You can follow Matt on Twitter at it's THE, RP33. RP stands for role player.
Well, the RP is capitalized, of course, and of course the 33, of course, stands for Larry Bird, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Got to throw that in.
Duh. And then if you don't want to follow him, just follow me at DIndependentQB. I'm just joking. You can follow both of us. And Twitter is a very welcoming, all-encompassing site.
Yeah, there's a lot of info there, and occasionally I'm funny. Occasionally.
Yeah.
I won't say all the time.
Yeah, you'll tag me in a few of your witty comments.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Yeah. Let's do our 2 for the road, Matt.
Yeah, new segment on the show.
Yeah, new segment. 2 for the road as we close things out. Matt, take it over. What's your one?
Well, I never thought I'd be talking about soccer. I've never really been a big soccer fan, but I've covered it here the last couple of years I've been at the paper, and we got a big matchup on Thursday night, probably the night that this goes on the internet. East Carter at Russell, a matchup of the 2 top teams of the area. Something's got to give in this matchup, QB. East Carter That's played 5 games so far, had 4 shutouts. Russell, on their hands, played a really tough schedule and scored 31 goals so far. So something's got to give. I'm calling for Russell 4-2.
Wow. Nice. I didn't realize we were going to get a prediction, too. Look at you.
Well, as far as East Russell goes, like you said, a lot of good talent players. And one more for the road, Marshall, Ohio. Battle for the Bell coming up this Saturday at noon.
I'll be in attendance. I want to wear my Marshall green today.
In Huntington. So, yeah, you're going to be, was that Marshall green or Ohio green?
I hope it's Marshall green. I just realized when I came in here that this might be Bobcat green too, but
Yeah. 'Cause
It's-
since we have Fred Ray on the show today, you had to say, oh, this is
but yeah,
Bobcat.
this is definitely Marshall green.
Okay, so the Herd and the Bobcats going at it. Marshall has kind of struggled a little bit, I thought, to open the season against Miami of Ohio. Not a real impressive win there in 28-20. Considering Eastern Kentucky, nothing against DKU, but they beat Miami of Ohio this past weekend. So that says a lot about Marshall's start, but they started clicking there against Rhode Island. I understand Rhode Island, not a great quality opponent, but when you had 700 yards of offense or whatever they ended up with, that's still impressive in my book, and I think that they'll have enough to beat Ohio. But it's always a tough test. I think Ohio's won 3 in a row.
Well, there's another contrast in styles here. Ohio's got a great defense, and Marshall is a up and down offense. Ohio went to Commonwealth and held Kentucky to 20 points. So that's pretty tough, but I think Marshall can beat this done.
All right.
Close game, I think.
Oh, yeah, sure. It's a big close game. Okay, Matt, well, thanks for playing your role on HTPP today. Look forward to the next time we can do this. Until next time, I'm Aaron Snyder. This is Halftime Prep Talk.